Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are diving into a stack of source material that really forces us to look at the promises of Web3 gaming and the metaverse, and then compare that to the often messy, centralized reality of how it's all being built. Yeah. And we're going to start with a paradox that I think captures this conflict perfectly. So Microsoft owns Minecraft, right? The biggest sandbox game on the planet. And they recently took a very hard line. They banned all NFT and crypto projects, which, I mean, it effectively collapsed these huge community-driven crypto empires like Critters.
Sealed overnight.
Exactly, just gone. But then, almost simultaneously, they approved an integration with one of the most technologically, controversial projects out there, Worldcoin.
It's a core conflict, and it shows you where the real line in the sand is being drawn. So our mission in this deep dive is to sort of cut through the hype, get past the price charts, and really understand what this digital landscape means for you. We're focusing on the fundamental stuff. Who holds the keys to these platforms? Where is the real labor exploitation hiding? And, what tools are being built today that will define, the societies of tomorrow?
Okay, let's unpack that Minecraft situation then, because it really does reveal the absolute core of platform control. They seem happy to shut down any kind of decentralized monetization.
Yes. Anything that generates revenue they can't control or, tax.
So that's the key.
That's the critical insight here. Microsoft is drawing a very, very clear line. They are perfectly happy with decentralized identity if it serves their platform's need.
For verification, things like that.
Exactly. But they will absolutely shut down decentralized revenue streams that they can't control. They want Web3 tools, but completely without the Web3 economic model.
Which is why Worldcoin got the green light.
Yeah.
So can you explain what Worldcoin actually is? Because it feels like a pretty big technological leap.
It is. Worldcoin uses a specific device. They call it the orb.
The orb.
Yeah, and that orb scans a person's retina to generate a unique digital signature. It's called an iris code, and it's all tracked on a blockchain.
That creates a world ID.
Precisely. It's basically a proof of personhood. And in exchange for their biometric data, participants get WLD crypto tokens.
And the connection to Minecraft is just utilitarian. It's a tool for them.
100%. The Minecraft integration uses that World ID credential specifically for user verification. It lets server operators, for instance, require players to authenticate themselves with that unique biometric proof before they get access or permissions in the game.
So it's an anti-cheat tool.
At its core, yes. It's an identity solution. But we have to remember the context here. This is the same global Worldcoin crypto project that was halted in Spain over some pretty serious privacy concerns.
And this isn't just about Microsoft's control, is it? It really highlights this overarching theme of control in all virtual worlds, decentralized or not. I mean, we know centralized platforms like Roblox maintain absolute power.
Oh, absolutely.
They take a huge cut. We're talking 75% of the revenue from their developers. I mean, that's just astronomical compared to the industry standard of, 30%?
And we saw similar bad press hit Meta when they announced they were taking a nearly 50% cut for developers in Horizon Worlds. So it shows that, whether you're dealing with an IP owner like Microsoft drawing boundaries or a centralized world like Roblox taking massive fees, the main challenge to the whole Web3 promise is platform sovereignty.
The house always wins.
The current dominant players are absolutely maintaining centralized control over who gets paid and who gets in.
That centralized take rate, that leads us directly into the economic reality of play-to-earn gaming, or P2E. If the promise was this grand economic liberation, who actually benefited from that explosive growth?
Well, the primary audience, the workers who participated, they were heavily concentrated in what are called growth markets. So particularly the Philippines, Vietnam, and Brazil. These were people who often turned to games like Axie Infinity to supplement or even replace their income after losing jobs during the pandemic. In fact, one of our sources noted that Filipinos were considered the most NFT crazy out of 20 countries surveyed.
But this isn't just a happy story of economic opportunity. It very quickly got framed as an issue of exploitation, which one source summarized with a truly chilling analogy.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
It said, with the cheap labor of a developing country, you could use people in the Philippines as NPCs, non-playable characters.
It's a harsh way to phrase it, but it does capture the dynamic perfectly. It kind of strips away all the pretense of economic empowerment, and it highlights how the exploitation relies on Well, on existing global economic disparity. It's often justified through older ideologies tied to capitalism and colonialism.
And the main vehicle for this whole system is often the P2E guild, right? Like Yield Guild games.
Correct. These organizations, they accumulate all the valuable in-game assets, which usually have a really high barrier to entry. Most people can't afford to buy in.
So they loan them out.
Exactly. They loan them out to players who they call scholars. The scholar does all the labor, generates the revenue, and then the guild takes a huge cut, often somewhere between 50 and 70% of the player's earnings.
I have to stop you there. We just criticized centralized platforms like Roblox for taking a 75% cut. Now you're telling me that these supposedly decentralized PUE guilds are taking 50 to 70%.
Mm-hmm.
How is this model economically superior or liberating? It just looks like the same extractive structure hasn't fundamentally changed at all.
That is the essential critique.
It's the same old model wrapped in new crypto clothing.
You're right. The players become dependent on a profit-seeking third party. It doesn't matter if that third party is a global platform or a decentralized guild just to participate. The structure is still extractive.
So what's the future for them?
Well, the guilds themselves are trying to evolve. They're structuring themselves into these regional sub-DAOs, these decentralized autonomous organizations, to try and localize their support. It shows a desire to, operationalize this new form of digital work, which is expanding beyond just P2E. Now it's this broader X-to-earn movement.
Move to earn, learn to earn, all of that.
Everything.
Okay, so if we look forward a bit, beyond the current conflicts, we can use this idea of speculative design to imagine the future. Our sources developed a few possible scenarios for, say, the year 2040, moving past this simple good or bad thinking to explore what this tech might actually produce.
Right, and in the most optimistic future, technology truly serves the collective. So in finance and governance, you might see cryptocurrencies successfully decentralize financial power away from central banks.
And a secure national ID system could speed up services like...
Exactly. It could reduce the friction of KYC, know your customer verification, in fintech apps, and maybe enable interconnected public transport systems.
And what about health and education in this optimistic view?
It suggests AI could expedite complex disease diagnosis by analyzing massive global data sets. And education would shift fundamentally to personalized, individualized learning that's tailored to accommodate neurodivergent students, moving beyond the limits of standardized K-12 systems.
That sounds good.
And crucially, there's a creative renaissance. Investment guarantees proper compensation for creators. You can imagine transparent, blockchain-powered music platforms, and it elevates human creativity. Human curators become necessary, even highly valued, to sort through the sea of AI-generated content.
Quality over volume.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's hit the stark contrast, the pessimistic future. And this is the scenario that many of the interviewees found easiest to imagine because it seemed like a short step from their current anxieties.
In this scenario, digital identities they're inextricably linked to social scores, and those scores could profoundly affect your career or even your status within a community.
Right, like one speculative concern raised in our sources was that in regions with strong local traditions, a low social score could potentially prevent someone from, say, joining the clergy.
A very specific but telling example. And labor takes a massive hit too. AI completely eliminates junior and entry-level positions. The MetaGPT example was cited, an AI that simulates an entire software company.
With engineering and managerial agents, the whole thing.
Yes, and it prompted the reaction. If they can create this well, we're all out of jobs.
And then there's the most extreme version of this.
The most terrifying scenario, yes. We see AI-powered weaponry used in devastating imperialistic wars. We're talking about drones and satellites carrying out destructive actions without any human involvement, targeting people inside their own homes. It's the existential risk from uncontrolled superintelligence with a complete lack of guardrails.
So, if we pull back from those two extremes, what's the probable scenario? Where do we actually land, balancing progress with all these challenges?
Well, we can probably expect the continued rise of these unified super apps that consolidate all your services, finance, entertainment, utilities into one seamless experience.
Makes sense.
And open banking systems where your financial data is securely shared via APIs, that'll become commonplace. But this progress it's shattered by continued data leaks and breaches, especially in sectors like healthcare. A rise in AI-generated misinformation spread through increasingly fragmented societal bubbles.
More cultural fragmentation.
Greater fragmentation, yeah, because people are only being exposed to these very limited, tailored perspectives.
So what does all this mean for that tension we started with? The digital world promises decentralization and interoperability. This idea that a MetaKey NFT could offer you universal perks across every single game you play.
A really powerful idea.
Right. Or even in fashion, with big houses moving to digital-first garments to reduce physical waste. It all sounds so empowering.
But the reality that we're living right now is defined by platform centralization and the deployment of these old exploitative economic models onto new digital labor. We've basically established that the high extractive take rates of the past have just been successfully ported onto this new decentralized infrastructure. It's modern digital colonialism.
So what's the good news? Is there any?
What's encouraging, I think, is the final feedback we saw from the user testing and the sources. While skepticism towards that purely optimistic future was very common, the comprehensive look at all three scenarios, the good, the bad, and the probable, it resulted in a high level of awareness.
Okay.
It left people with this powerful feeling that the future isn't predetermined. It is, in fact, changeable.
That sense of agency is absolutely key. So if the big trend in this developing metaverse economy is X to earn, learn to earn, create to earn, move to earn, and if money is fundamentally just a unit of time traded, here's a final thought for you to explore on your own.
How can you ensure that the time and skills you invest in this burgeoning economy, whether you're a creator, a player, or a user, aren't just contributing to a new form of digital colonialism, but are genuinely helping to construct that more optimistic, equitable future being envisioned?